Dustin and the Sodor Storm Team. Fall was coming to an end on the island of Sodor. With winter approaching, Sir Topham Hatt knew that the island of Sodor needed to prepare for bad weather. As Dustin had saved the fall festival and charity race after a powerful storm, Sir Topham Hatt went to see him. "I want to build a weather station for the Sodor Search and Rescue Center," Sir Topham Hatt said. "The station will have a satellite dish to warn us when storms are coming. Dustin, I want you to be in charge of setting up this station." "Oh, thank you, sir," replied Dustin. He was thrilled with this chance to be really useful, so he went to work immediately. Soon construction of the new weather station was underway, with help from Thomas and the Sodor Search and Rescue Team. "This weather station's a great idea," said Thomas. "Now we'll be prepared whenever a storm comes." "It's good to know when a storm is on the way, Thomas," Dustin said. "But everyone should also know what to do when it strikes. The satellite dish can't teach engines how to plow snow or ride along icy rails, but I can." Thomas saw a chance to help his friend, so he told Dustin he would find more engines to be a part of the special weather response team. Thomas raced to the docks where he found James and Diesel. At first, James did not want to be part of the training. However, when Thomas explained it was important to Sir Topham Hatt, James agreed to help. "Very important work should be done by a really splendid engine," he said, but Diesel refused to help. "Why would I want some snow-blowing steam engine bossing me around?" "That's fine," Thomas replied. "After all, everyone knows steam engines are better in bad weather." "Diesels can do anything steamies can do," Diesel responded proudly. "I'll prove it to you. Let's go!" As the engines made their way back to the weather station, they found Dustin and Belle at Gordon's Hill. "It's time to start training," Dustin said excitedly. "In a storm, engines should be able to shunt trucks up steep hills with snow blowing in their eyes. For now, we practice with sand." Back at the weather station, Dustin and the workers had set up a training course. "We've created wintry conditions using sand instead of snow, and oil to make the rails slick," Dustin announced. "You will also need to practice pulling these troublesome trucks full of salt. Salt is used to melt the snow and ice on roads and station platforms." "I won't be pulling any trucks with salt," James said. "The salt could damage my splendid paintwork." "Don't worry about your pretty paintwork," Diesel told James. "If a steam engine can't do the job, a diesel engine certainly can." Diesel was so eager to upstage James, he ignored Dustin's warning about the track being slick with oil. Diesel sped forward, but as he raced over the slippery rails, the troublesome trucks toppled over. The trucks crashed into the base of the weather station. "Diesel!" The engines didn't realize that the impact had caused the satellite to rotate out of position. The other engines were also struggling with Dustin's task, and when they began to question whether they were suited for this work, Dustin offered some words of encouragement. "Sir Topham Hatt put me in charge because I have plenty experience with bad weather. Learning something new can be difficult, but if you work real hard and follow my directions, you'll be a really useful engine when a storm arrives." The engines realized they would have to pay attention to Dustin and worked harder to complete his challenges. With their snowplows, they pushed mounds of sand from the tracks. They navigated the slick, oily rails by moving forward slowly and carefully, and then they practiced pulling the salt-filled, troublesome trucks. When Dustin left the weather station, he felt proud of his team. Although they needed practice, they were clearly improving. But as Dustin sat in his shed that evening, he watched a single snowflake tumble down from the sky, followed by another, and then another. Soon it began snowing heavily. "This can't be," Dustin said. "The satellite hasn't warned us about any snow." Dustin rushed back to the weather station where he found Bell and Flint. "Seems like when Diesel's trucks hit the tracker, they knocked the satellite out of place," explained Bell. Flynn added, "That's why we weren't warned about the storm." "Oh dear, this is a disaster!" Dustin was nervous because he didn't think the engines were ready to face a real storm. However, Bell and Flynn assured him that he trained the team well and they volunteered to round up the other engines. Harold lit the way as Flynn used his siren and Bell used her bell to alert the engines. After the team was assembled, Thomas, Diesel, and James were fitted with snowplows so they could help clear tracks. Belle collected a troublesome truck and a spotlight so she could see through the snowy darkness as she delivered salt. Thanks to Dustin's training, the engines carefully made their way along slick, icy rails. They plowed the snow from the tracks, delivered salt, and provided help to anyone who needed it. Despite the storm, the railway continued to run smoothly. Passengers were transported and deliveries were made on time, all because of the engine's hard work. After the storm had passed, Sir Topham Hatt spoke to the engines. "Even though our warning system wasn't working, you engines did an excellent job of keeping the railway running." The engines told Sir Topham Hatt that Dustin had been the one to train them. "I can't take all the credit," Dustin said. "You could have quit when you realized the job was difficult, but you worked hard and came together as a team." With a new satellite now fixed and a team of engines ready for action, Sir Topham Hatt's railway was ready to face whatever winter had in store.